If you're watching this video, it means you have a teenager who will soon be getting their driver's license. Now for your teenager, this may be exciting stuff, but for you, maybe not. And that's why you're here. We want to help you so you can help your teenager get the experience they need to become safe, smart drivers. Let's get started.
In 2007, Massachusetts made changes in both the permitting process and the initial license that teens first receive, referred to as the Junior Operator License, or the JOL. This approach worked. Studies have shown that fatal crashes involving new drivers are down over 50% since implementation of the JOL in Massachusetts.
Back in 2007 when we started this process, and in 2010 when we updated it with the Safe Driver Law, we took a look at the crash data involving new drivers, and we've seen a great reduction in personal injury and fatal crashes involving new drivers.
But still, the first few weeks or months can be a very dangerous time for new drivers. Nationally, crash rates are highest among teens during their first few hundred miles on the road, with 60% of those crashes the result of inexperience. Your teen is now taking a Massachusetts Certified Driver's Education course.
All right, guys, so as we discussed, we are just working on your basic driving skills. So today, right now, we're going to talk about headlights and the importance and the rules that are involved with that.
The RMV classroom curriculum consists of 15 two-hour modules. These modules are comprised of topics such as basic road skills, signs, signals, and road markings, understanding the vehicle and its controls, making safe driving decisions, distracted driving, sharing the road, how natural laws affect driving, different driving environments and weather conditions, mental and physical effects on impaired and distracted driving, and handling emergencies and breakdowns. The driver education program also includes 12 hours of on-the-road instruction with a certified driver education instructor,
Look left, look right, looks good.
and 6 hours of observing other new drivers.
But during their permit process, you have a big role to play. In addition to their formal driver's education program, students must log a minimum of 40 hours of supervised behind-the-wheel driving with a parent or guardian. The parent or guardian, and that's probably you, will need to submit paperwork showing that this requirement has been met. Ideally, you'll have spent much more time than that 40 hours driving with your teen. Experience is the most important factor for new teen driver safety. Try and expose your teen to as many diverse traffic conditions as possible. At night, in the rain and snow, and on all kinds of roads and traffic volumes.
Parents need to be quite dedicated in the practice with their students. It's their life. Though we're all in a rush for everything to happen, don't be. Don't be. Be safe, take the time you need to do with your children, and get it done right.
With respect to the 40 hours for the parents, again, engage your child. Don't look at it as a chore. This is the one opportunity you're going to have to make a difference on their life as far as with respect to driving. So again, do everything you can to make it enjoyable and a positive learning experience. It's all about positive reinforcement for the kids.
I think parents think because they pay for driver's ed that it's our job to do everything. But we explain to them it's something we need to do together. It's teamwork. Teamwork is what's going to make a successful driver, teen driver, a safe driver.
Studies have shown that there are 5 key skills that are critical factors in more than 60% of vehicle crashes. The first is hazard recognition. This means teaching your teen how to constantly scan the road ahead looking for potential problems. This may sound second nature to you, but it's a skill new drivers need to learn through experience. Next is vehicle handling. This means understanding how road conditions affect handling, how acceleration, deceleration, braking and turns affect vehicle balance, and perhaps most importantly, how to recover from skids. Then there's speed management. It sounds self-explanatory, but it's more than just driving at a speed that doesn't endanger or impede others. It's using proper signals and understanding emergency braking techniques. And it's knowing the difference between conventional and anti-lock braking systems, or ABS. Another is space management. Much of this includes maintaining a safe distance between vehicles and learning how to avoid a rear-end crash or being involved on a head-on crash. And above all, emphasize the dangers of distracted and impaired driving, which includes cell phones. It's illegal for anyone under 18 to use a cell phone while driving, and it's illegal for anyone of any age to text while driving.
Now, once these requirements are met, your new driver can apply to take their junior operator's license test. As the name implies, this license has some provisions and restrictions.
The first is the passenger restriction, which prevents a junior operator from carrying passengers under the age of 18, except for siblings, during the first 6 months that the driver has his or her license. Then there's the night restriction, which prevents a junior operator from driving between 12:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. unless accompanied by a parent or guardian.
But even with these restrictions, an inexperienced driver is still a high crash risk, dangerous to others and dangerous to themselves. Young drivers need to know that motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death among teens in the United States. And inexperience is one of the biggest causes of motor vehicle crashes. Notice I said crashes. Most of them are not accidents.
Adam was killed on the night of August 23rd, 2010. It was a rainy night, the roads were slippery. We know that he was speeding. We know that he had had a couple of beers.
He was less than a mile from the house, 0.8 miles from the house. He took a curve on one of the normal streets here, way too fast. The car skidded, and the car rolled over and turned around, and he hit a tree.
I had a couple of very serious talks with him about the importance of wearing a seatbelt. And at one point I thought maybe he wasn't listening, and I said, Adam, are you hearing me? Are you listening to this? And he assured me that he was, and I believe that he was listening. But when he's on the road by himself at night and he's feeling buzzed, that lesson eluded him. And I believe firmly that had he had his seatbelt on, he would not have wound up being thrown violently into the back seat and dying.
I think someone with more experience in the rain would have driven more slowly, would have slowed as he took a curve and went from, one street to another, and in the rain would have worn a seatbelt.
It was inexperience that led to Adam's death. I think also he had a little bit of a wild streak in him, as many teenagers do, and that also led him to put his foot down too hard on the accelerator at exactly the wrong time.
Most teenagers believe they're invincible, and I think they also model themselves after their parents. And so the first thing I think is really be sure that you're doing all the things that you ask your child and teenager to do long before they're getting their permit, and then drive with them.
When we present at high schools, we ask students to sign a pledge where they pledge not to do things that involve distracted driving. And we actually list out some of the things that they should not be doing. When your son or your daughter is on the road, they're on their own. And it's really a lifetime of setting the right example that will help save that kid.
Adam's father mentioned having your young driver sign a safe driving pledge or contract. We urge you to write your own based on your circumstances, but here's a generic version you can start with.
I promise to drive safely for myself, my friends, my family, and the safety of others.
To wear my safety belt and have my passengers wear their safety belts at all times.
I will not use my cell phone while driving.
I will follow the posted speed limit and adjust my speed if required.
I will keep music at a reasonable level.
I will never operate a vehicle under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
And I will speak up anytime I ride with friends and feel unsafe.
It's up to you now. In essence, you have been your child's first driving instructor. They've watched you drive for their entire life. Now you need to be their role model. Everything you do should set a good example for your teen. Be sure that you obey all traffic laws. You should correct any unsafe driving habits you might have, such as driving aggressively, following too closely, accelerating through yellow lights, speeding, or any type of distracted driving, especially when it comes to using your cell phone. Helping your teen driver gain practice and experience will take time and patience. Lots of patience. But remember, the time you spend on the road with your new driver in the upcoming months might just someday save their life.